combine the numbers. So on the top chart, the non-Medicare calls were 159, the Medicare calls 170. What we billed, what that bill per call was, what we collected, and what the collection per call was.
I'm sorry, this is for '09?
This is under current BLS rates. 09, yes.
This is 2009?
2009. It's actually an extrapolation off that 2009 slide I had up earlier.
Sorry, that's on, yep.
So, on the new BLS rate, if you look on the chart, we're proposing essentially doubling it. We go back a couple of slides.
Right.
But the feeling was that we probably, in the process of doubling it, will not collect twice as much from those carriers. So, and the 75% number is perhaps arbitrary, but it is a place to start to make a shot at what might happen.
And the reason you did this is because what you learned talking with those other
Right.
surrounding
That's right.
towns, what they do.
That's right.
Okay, so
I was raising the rates, they all said, we're not gonna get it. So what I did was I took the BLS rates on the top slide, multiplied those numbers by 1.75,
Okay.
and created a new BLS rate,
no,
Can I ask you a question?
a new BLS revenue stream
okay.
with a new rate, yes.
Where's the OSF on 2009 revenue? It shows 25 Medicaid and 126 Medicare. Over here you've got 170, where you pick up the 22 additional.
Oh, that may have been it was 19, I think, of,
The 19 are patient, not necessarily
Patient,
Medicare
yeah.
and Medicaid.
I included them in there because those patients are paying next to nothing too. Got it? So, if you take a look at those numbers, now keep in mind the Medicare number, we're projecting no increase. We could even, if we wanted to factor out some small percentage off of that, we could. So, the bottom chart represents the increase in BLS revenue, just changing the rates. So in other words, if we did nothing in terms of going toward ALS, but we just increased the rate, which we're planning on doing, we could yield about $100,000 in additional revenue.
That's probably on the conservative side, right?
Oh, it is.
We're trying
Yeah.
to keep everything on the
Very
conservative
conservative.
side.
Oh, that's great.
We're gonna take it one step further in conservatism in a minute. So ALS revenue. If you look at the ALS, the difference between the new BLS rate and the new ALS rate,
Mhm.
it's a 32% increase.
Over the current.
Over the current. Oh, no.
No, the difference between,
32% more than
Over the new.
the new BLS rate.
Okay, I'm sorry, yep.
So what I did was, I multiplied the BLS rate, the new BLS rate, by 1.32 to create an estimate of ALS revenue. So again, the Medicare is frozen. I did use the same ratio of numbers, so to keep it simple. It's about a 50-50 split, it varies a little bit. And that yielded $385,000 of new revenue. Now, in this case, you have to count the Medicare, because this is additional Medicare. These are current calls that we're collecting no or very little revenue on, under the current setup that we have, because we don't have ALS. Okay? Questions? And the note here is that it was decided by the team to be conservative and use $250,000 of the estimated annual ALS revenue.
oh, I think you have a question.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I have no idea. I'm just trying to follow you. But if you have two ambulance drivers or ambulance people that go and do BLS, but they are qualified and certified ALS, can you charge which one?
Well, the answer to that, first of all, is that first you have to be certified ALS and you have to have all your accreditation. And two is that the answer is, if you go on a BLS call and you end up doing something a little more that would fall in ALS, once you qualify, you could probably charge the ALS rate.
But you'd have to do something.
You have to be licensed to do it.
Right.
No, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're certified ALS, but you go on a call and it only warrants BLS
Then you pay,
treatment,
then it's
They bill
BLS.
then
BLS,
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what your qualifications you have.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So, after a discussion with the team, we decided that we only use $250,000 of projected new ALS revenue, or new revenue, to look at a financial plan and see if we can make this thing work. By the way, some of the bad news was, what we learned was, let me go through this and I'll get to that.
Well, just before you change, so just make sure I understand. Instead of using 385,000, you're gonna use 250.
Right.
Right. And that's at full staff
Yeah.
ALS.
Yeah, actually during the startup, we're not even using
Right.
that.
And what do you consider full staff?
What are we considering? Full staff?
Yeah, you say full
Two-
staff. What's full staff?
2 paramedics per group, so 8 paramedics on the fire department staff.
It's not new, it could be existing staff, right? They could be
Right.
certified ALS.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
but 8 paramedics in total.
Right, but that's not what they're talking.
Well, I don't think they're talking, I don't think they've said one way or another.
Yeah.
They're saying.
I mean, you see how we get to it, but,
Let's get there.
right.
Okay.
Hold on, easy.
All right.
Just a few notes. Medicare cut reimbursement rates in January 2010 by 8%. I understand there's been an adjustment since then. The new rates will not increase Medicare reimbursement. That's the new projected rates. I've mentioned that. And the Medicare-Medicaid payer mix is approximately 50%. This is somewhat important because going downstream with ALS and with our growing population, we're probably going to have a higher ALS ratio going downstream than we have today. And I think some of the communities have
There's also,
experienced that.
Efforts among the private ambulance companies and the fire-based ambulance companies to get Medicare, get bumped up even more than they've agreed to, they're doing some lobbying right now.
Trends. As I said, ALS will shift from 50% to a higher number as experienced with Reading and Linfield. More requests for ALS mutual aid. If we're running ALS and Reading needs some additional ALS support, we're gonna get those calls. Similarly, would be using them. The age of our population is increasing, and there's more people living in North Reading. There's 1,000 people over at Edgewood Estates.
Why do we think that there will be a shift in ALS? What's the rationale behind that?
Because we have a growing older population requiring
the other
more
community,
ALS type service
Right.
versus BLS.
and I think, and the guys can correct me, what the other communities have seen is when they go out, if you just BLS, that's what you can bill for, you're turning it over to Action to bill ALS. These guys can go out, and if there's something they can offer that the patient may need, that comes under an ALS classification, they can then take the call as an ALS call and bill it out as an ALS call. I don't know if you guys can describe it better than I have.
Both Reading and Linfield went from approximately 40 to 50% ALS calls to 60. And even now, if we do an intercept with Action and they perform some ALS skills, they decide it's a BLS call, there's no BLS money, although there was some ALS skills performed. If we were doing ALS in-house, we'd now be able to bill for that because we have the staff and we do some of the procedures.
But are we saying that we can, that we're not, are we providing ALS service but can't bill for it in some instances?
No, we're saying
No,
is we
okay.
provide,
There's calls that are on the fence, they could go either way.
Right,
They could go either way. So if we were certified, we could offer
ALS service.
ALS service, but does that mean that the people actually needed the ALS service?
It could be that there was no ALS service available to us at the time, or the call required it, and we were unable to meet up with our ALS intercept. What's happening is, they're finding that more people are using ALS services than they are BLS services, because sometimes they're on the fence, they don't use it, or they do use it because they want their ALS provider available for a priority call.
Who's they?
I'm sorry?
Who's they?
The Action Ambulance Services and Catalos and so forth.
What about our history here?
I don't follow.
What, as far as North Reading and our relationship with Action right now?
They provide an
we-
ALS
we-
service.
We're getting the service.
We are.
Are there instances where we're unable to provide them with the service because Action can't answer the call?
We've
Is
we've had instances, not many.
Rare.
Oh,
Rare,
yeah,
right?
it's very
Rarely.
rare.
Okay,
We do use Reading, sometimes Linfield, Middleton,
okay.
we'll go to our other.
It should also be understood that using Action, that the response time is considerably different than if we.
No, I understand it. No, I understand that. I understand that.
Danny, maybe.
Yes, you want us to go on Medicare, so you're gonna be able to collect less on your ALS calls. If the population is shifted, what you're saying,
Different issue.
then
Dana, it's a different issue, we're not talking about that right now. I'm sorry.
no, what I'm saying is, Medicare, you say you can't collect as much for Medicare. If the population is aging, as they're saying, and more of the calls are for the aging population, then there's a less chance that we're gonna be able to collect money from them
You're
because.
talking about town employees, we're talking about the
No,
town
no, no,
operating.
no, I'm talking about, you're saying the general population is getting older,
Mhm.
correct?
Right.
You're gonna be going on to a different insurance,
Okay,
correct?
okay, I
So I'm
understand.
saying is that to me should be some sort of a consideration. In other words, we can't collect, we can't collect as much from the aging population. That's the only thing, I'm asking you if that's,
But right now, we can't offer ALS, so we're getting zero.
oh, I understand, but what I'm saying.
I think you have an offset. There may be an offset. I think you make a good point, but I think you'll have,
That's what I'm asking, is there a, if the population is aging that much, is that gonna affect on how much we anticipate we can collect?
Yes.
That's a good point.
That, I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, we don't know either at this point.
You know.
But no, you're right, that's something we probably we should consider. Okay, those are trends, okay, cost to outfit the ambulance for ALS. One of the key things is this, heart monitor system, and, it's called Life Pack 15, and it's $32,000 that would have to be added to the ambulance. And right now, we're talking about one ambulance. Fire department at some point would want to put that same system in the second ambulance. And then supplies, these are expendables, but initially you have to outfit the ambulance, and then as they're used, it'd be replenished. And then there's a license, which is required semi-annually. This is an additional $400 over the current $400 that we pay for EMS level licensing. So we try to identify, with respect to the ambulance, the additional costs. ALS training. Paramedic course is $10,000, and there's a note, there are other less expensive courses. But being conservative, we just picked this course that appears to be very well managed. And if you want to have a really good trained, skilled person, this would be the place to send them.
Just have a question. $10,000, we're talking about 1,000 hours at $10,000? Just $10 an hour?
$1,500.
1,500 hours.
it's 12 to, Mike, you know the, how many hours?
Yeah, it's like 12 to 1,500 depending on the program.
And it's only $10,000?
There's actually some that are a little cheaper, but.
And
There's some more
obviously some
expensive too.
funding coming from, well, keep in mind, they're training more than one person.
Oh, I know that, but-
But they're doing it during, hours, right? We're paying them their labor hours during the course, right?
Well,